Hello and welcome to section 1, in which we will be creating GUIs in Python with Tkinter. First, we will create a running GUI in only a few lines of Python code. Then we will add widgets to the GUI. After that, we will look into layout of controls. Then we will add entry widgets and read data from them. And in the end, we will design a menu bar containing menus. In this first video, we will be building our first GUI with Python and Tkinter. So we'll create our first GUI and we'll be specifying the startup size and the position of our GUI. Then we'll be adding a title to the GUI, and after that we will be changing the GUI default icon. In only 3 lines of code we can create a functional running GUI in Python with the Tkinter framework. First we import the Tkinter module and we alias it to TK. So that will save some typing later. So instead of typing Tkinter all the time, we just can use TK. It's very common. So we use this TK alias and create an instance of the TK class, which will become our GUI. We have to save this instance in a variable. So I named it GUI here because we are creating a GUI. And now we have created this class, and once we have the reference to this class, to the instance, we can call the main event loop, which is the main window loop. So when we run this code, only 3 lines of Python code with Tkinter with the framework, we get a fully functional GUI, graphical user interface. Has a title bar, the default one, a default icon. You can drag it around, can resize it in both directions, and we can close it. It doesn't do much yet, but that comes next. So the first thing we want to do is we want to specify our own window widths and heights. So we can use the geometry method from Tkinter. So we use our instance variable GUI and we call geometry on it. And we pass in a string 600 by 400, could be anything. And that will become the width and height. So that's the syntax here, it's within a string. And when we run this, we have specified our window to be not the default anymore. So it's 600 pixels wide and 400 pixels tall. The next thing we can do is give our GUI a title. So we change the default title, and could be anything. Again, it's within a string. And one important thing is we create our instance variable of the Tkinter class at the top, and at the bottom we use it to call the Windows main loop, the main event loop on it, and everything else, all the other code goes in between. So whatever we're gonna add to it, all the widgets and so on, will go in between. So this always comes first and this comes last. So when we run it now, we can see the same size, 600 by 400, but now our title is what we have defined it to be. So GUI written in Tkinter. In this video we created our first GUI using Python with the Tkinter framework. We saw how we can do this very easily in only a few lines of code. And then we changed the startup size of the GUI. We gave it a title and changed the default icon. It shows our own icon. We also changed the size. And in the next video we will start adding widgets to our GUI.